Don't pay attention to me. All right, don't pay attention to me. Can you get something right with? I do want you to walk away with one thing. I really do believe this with all my heart. You walk away with one new thing every day. That's 365 things. There is no way you do 365 new things and your whole life not new. It's not possible. So today, of course, for those of you who were live and direct yesterday, and for those of you who call it online, you might have felt live. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? But um, you know what we're talking about. Not management, but elimination. And so I want you to write down the things that you hear that's going to help you eliminate stress in your life. All right, let's pray. Dear most kindly Father, we thank you for this day. We thank you for life, health, for strength, and for your many blessings. Bless our ears. Yep, of course, we want you to bless the words that come out of your daughter's mouth, but bless our ears so that we can hear. Forgive us for our sins and our shortcomings. And thank you in advance for what we're getting ready to hear and do in Jesus' name. Amen. Take it away.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Hello, APOC. I am so excited to be back with you guys, kicking off officially this week-long health series where you're specializing in chronic stress, specializing in chronic disease. And this week, we're going to be talking about all of that and more. So welcome, welcome, welcome. I will love to hear what you're looking forward to as we continue to load up the room and kick this thing off. Tell me, drop something in the chat with regard to your health that you're hoping to understand better or undo this week. Just drop, is it blood pressure? Is it weight? Is it stress? Is it how to eat like you got some sense? Is it beating a sugar addiction? Just drop it in the chat for me so I can make sure we have the right people in the room as we kick this thing off. So guys, as you come in, I'm going to start telling a little bit about my story, and I'm going to walk you through kind of what you can expect this week. And I'm super excited to do that because I was once where you are. Let me show you guys something. As you're dropping it. Oh, I see it coming in. Somebody said the snap, crackle, and pop in my knee. Amen. Let's get rid of the snap, crackle, and pop. The stress, the sugar, 100%. Oh, somebody was in the building yesterday. Somebody said stress perception. Somebody caught the kickoff live yesterday. Eliminate chronic stress. Oh, this is so good, y'all. Perception. Yes, I love it. Eating for my blood type. Is it real? Oh, I can't wait to get to Q&A. Thank you, Kenna, for that question. Make sure you save it for the end. I created a whole space for Q&A today, so I got you on that question. Keep dropping in the blood pressure. Absolutely all of the above. Got you, Didi. Changing the perception. I just love scholars. Oh, y'all got a good bunch here, APOC. Like, they learned and they came and they already using the language. That is my type of people. Listen, if you've missed the kickoff yesterday at APOC, E did a wonderful sermon about taking back dominion. And then I came in and did a short presentation about stress, the difference between acute and chronic. And so if you see in this word perception come up in the chat today, it's because yesterday I taught that stress is not just about our circumstance, but chronic stress is about the perception of our circumstance. We're going to get more into that this week. It's more coming. So if you missed it, don't worry. But I love the scholars in the room who's already embodying the information. What else, y'all? Keep dropping in the chat. What do you hope to get out of this week? I'm hearing more sugar, finding balance, remembering there no is a complete sentence. Oh, we're trying to prioritize ourselves. Okay, I love it here. Yeah, this is so beautiful. Okay, great. So let's get into the presentation. And I'm going to walk you through kind of what you can expect this week. We'll be focusing heavily on chronic stress, but I can't talk stress without telling you and teaching you how to eat so that you can make healthy decisions and create those exit strategies from chronic stress. So there's going to be a lot around nutrition this week. There will be a lot around exercise science, lifestyle science, and of course, teaching you the science behind what's required to eliminate chronic stress. So if y'all ready, just drop a ready in the chat. Just drop ready in the chat with an emoji that represents how you feel. Are you scared? Are you nervous? Are you excited? Right? Usually, my people who know me, they get a little nervous, like, y'all got to be ready for Coach Lisa. So if you're used to me, don't scare the people in the chat. Just act like you new here. Just act like you new here, and that you are all open to whatever is coming your way. I love it. Good job, guys. Look at the rocket ship. I love it. Okay, so let me tell you guys why I do what I do, and who I am. Let me tell you a little bit about why I do what I do. So, my name, once again, is Lisa A. Smith, and I'm a health coach, but I did not start off as a health coach. I did not start off in the health field at all. I started my career as an adult in social work. So, I used to work for the state of Michigan, the Department of Health and Human Services in Oakland County, and I was a foster care worker. That was my first like grown up job, right? When I graduated from the University of Michigan. So I was a foster care worker, y'all, and I was responsible for helping the kids to reunite with their biological families when CPS took them out of the home, right? So I would come in and start preparing services for the families, and I was responsible for visiting with the kids and securing them a foster family and just making sure that they were being taken care of as they work through the court system and all of that stuff. Now, I don't know how many people in here have ever worked or currently works in foster care. And if you have, just put a one in the chat because I'll know you can relate to the amount of stress, that can come with social work, right? And so, okay, thank you. Oh, thank you, Brianna. Okay, so I got some fellow social workers in the building. So there's a lot of stress that can come when you work in social work, and especially something as fragile as child welfare. And so I was really committed to these kids and committed to this role. But I have to be honest with you guys, although it was an admirable work, it was admirable work, it wasn't my calling. So although it was admirable work, it's honorable work, we need social workers, we need individuals working in child welfare, it wasn't my calling. And I say that because sometimes, no matter how stressful something can be, if you feel called to the work, it just all of a sudden becomes less stressful. If you feel called to hard work, it all of a sudden becomes less stressful. But that wasn't the case for me. So let me show you guys what I looked like before I left child welfare and really started taking care of my health. This was me before. Look at the picture on your screen, y'all. Look at my before picture. Look at my before picture. Unrecognizable, honey. I was overweight, but not only was I overweight, I was unhealthy and unaware. Now, it's one thing to be unhealthy, y'all, but it's a whole nother thing to be unaware that you're unhealthy. It's a whole nother thing to be unaware that the choices you're making every day with what you're eating and what you're drinking and how you're moving is potentially shorten your life expectancy because we're taught things that we just think is the right thing to do. When we hear doctors say, when we read information online, we're just like, okay, that just do low calorie or just make sure, I just don't eat so much of the junk, right? And so we're taught all of these things. And so this is where I was at this time. So look at this before picture, y'all. This was me at about 190 pounds, working a job that wasn't my calling, although it was honorable work, doing what I thought I was supposed to do minimally for my health, which means I was working out and not really pushing myself, but I was doing a little something, right? And I was trying to eat as best as I could. I was trying to eat as best as I could. So not only was I unhealthy and unaware, I was also at less than my personal best. I was at less than my personal best. Now, see who you're listening to and who you're watching before you today. I'm at my best, y'all. And what's so dope about being at your best is when you're aware, when you slip from being your best, right? So I know if I have something I'm not supposed to have or don't push myself as hard in my workout, I can tell the difference in my body and my brain. And I say that because my goal this week is to introduce you guys to the best version of yourself. Do you know there's individuals walking around right now who are not the best version of themselves and they're not even aware of it. They think, yeah, I got aches and pains. I got a little bit of weight on me. I don't eat the best. I'm not exactly living in my purpose. I'm a little stressed out. My relationships ain't that optimal, but I'm not that bad, right? But, I'm doing the best I can. At least I don't have a diagnosis. And it wasn't until I lost this weight It wasn't until I moved closer to radical obedience, doing what God called me to do, that I realized that where I was operating was just good. And I had let the good become the enemy of my great. But let me keep going. Let me keep going. And I'm sure some of you guys can relate to that. And I was at this point where I was longing for more. So I needed to show you this before picture because I need you guys to understand that sometimes we make a habit out of settling. Sometimes we make a habit out of being less than our best because at least we're still able to get up and do what we need to do. Like, yeah, I'm not at my best, but I can still manage, right? I'm able to get up, go to work, do what I need to do, take care of my responsibilities, take care of my family, right? I'm not optimal. I'm not self-actualized. I'm obedient, but I'm not radically obedient to God. And so because of those things, I'm just going to keep going along to get along. I don't want to ruffle any feathers. I don't feel comfortable making time for myself and spending money on myself and investing in myself. And I feel guilty if I do a workout or take a vacation for myself. And so I'm just going to keep going along and getting along. Right. And so my hope, one of my hopes for you guys this week is that we, if nothing else, make a decision to stop settling. Somebody put stop settling in the chat for me. Now, what I'm trying to do, the tone that you hear right now, y'all, is me trying to keep my cool. Just so y'all know, this is me practicing self-control right now because I get really excited when I talk about this stuff. And when I start going through these next 3 slides, that's when a different version of me is going to come out. But right now, right, I'm trying to ease. I know a lot of y'all are new to me. I'm trying to ease us into this thing. All right. So stop settling. There we go. We got to stop settling, y'all. We got to stop settling for just being on one blood pressure medication. We got to stop settling. I'm just 20 pounds overweight. That's not that bad. We really got to stop settling for at least it's paying the bills. I mean, I'm not happy. I don't feel like my gifts and my purpose are being actualized, but at least, at least it's paying the bills. We got to stop settling. Right. Like we're not exactly blissful, but it's, we get along, we making it work. It's not exactly the relationship that I dreamed of, but I don't want to say anything because I don't want to ruffle what we got going on. Stop settling. Right. Okay. So let's move on. Here's what I like to start to do. Here's what I want to do. I told you a little bit about me. Tomorrow, I'm going to tell you a little more. But today, I just wanted to focus on the weight loss part, the health part. So I lost over 65 pounds. I started at 190. I'm 5'8" for reference. And I began my weight loss journey in 2012. So the young lady that you see in this picture, she walked into the break room at the state of Michigan Human Service Department in Oakland County. And she ran into a young lady named Tiffany. And Tiffany was making a parfait that morning. And Tiffany was making a parfait with yogurt, granola, and blueberries. And when I went to work the next day, I ran into the break room again and I saw Tiffany making a parfait with yogurt, granola, and blueberries. And then a couple of days went by. I didn't really go to the break room those mornings. But then the following week, I went back to the break room and I saw Tiffany making a parfait with yogurt, granola, and blueberries. And finally, because Tiffany had arms like Michelle Obama, she had calves like Tina Turner. She was working her business, casual skirts and blouses. Okay. And I said, Tiffany, the body is bodying. Do you eat the same thing every single day? And she said, yeah, pretty much. And I said, is that what it takes to get a body like that and to be healthy like that? She said, that's the way I've done it. I said, say less. And Tiffany told me that she was a personal trainer. She was working at a gym in Ferndale, Michigan. And I was like, well, I'm interested in learning a little more. So Tiffany invited me to the gym, and Tiffany became my first personal trainer. And me and Tiffany worked together from January of 2012 to the fall of that year. And she helped me lose my first 30 pounds. And the only reason we stopped working together in the fall of that year is because that, and I don't think it's a coincidence, was the exact same year that I decided to leave my 9 to 5, take a chance on myself, and move abroad. So I was applying for internships at the state of Michigan, or excuse me, internships with the State Department, right? So that's federal government, because I really wanted to travel the world and I really wanted to see the world, but I wanted to do it on the government's dime, y'all. So I was applying for internships and I decided that I wanted to get out of this social work here. But what happened was when I got the email from the State Department and they said, congratulations, you've been selected to work at the United States Embassy. I went to my job. I went to my foster care worker manager and I said, I got this opportunity to do this internship and I would love if you can hold my job until I get back because it's only for about 12 weeks. And they said, unfortunately, since you're not going to be doing anything that's related to the work you do here, we can't guarantee you your job. And so I had a choice to make. I either leave or I stayed. I either leave and work an unpaid internship and figure out how I was going to pay my way and figure out how I was going to earn income, or I stay at my 9 to 5. And you guys can probably guess what I did. And that is what sparked the next phase in my career. And it eventually led me to starting my first health and wellness company in 2015. So we've been in business 10 years and it all started from me losing weight. So what I'm saying is if some of you are sick of settling, what you're looking for, the blessing you've been praying for, the obedience you've been trying to activate just might be on the other side of a health transformation. There's something about dropping the weight. There's something about when you stop putting a bunch of processed junk food in your body where your mind clears up, the brain fog goes away, you're able to think clearly, you're able to make better decisions, you're sleeping better, you're resting better. And can I tell you about the body confidence? All right, don't worry about it. We got a whole week. Let's get into it. Let's get into the rest of this presentation, y'all. Now, here's how I like to start all of my classes. 100%. I don't care what you do with me. I don't care what program you take with me. I start the same way, and that is with belief. That is with belief. So if we can get into the belief system that you need to have in order to operate at your best for this week and going forward, just drop belief in the chat, y'all. Just drop belief in the chat. We're not starting with here's how you should eat. We're not starting with how much water should I drink every day, coach. We're not starting with what time of the day is the best time to work out. We're not starting with, well, what's wrong with agave and honey and can I have coconut sugar? We're not starting there. We're starting with belief because here's what I learned. It took me a long time as a coach to learn this, but I was like, Lisa, you got to stop telling people what to do. And before you tell them what to do, you have to teach them how to think. You got to teach them how to think. So here's what I want you guys to do. Here's the first takeaway from here and going forward in your journey on your health. Stop asking, what do I need to do? Over and over and over again. When we see somebody, oh my God, you look good. You done lost weight. What you been doing? Oh, I see your muscles popping. What you been doing? Child, your skin looks amazing. What you been doing? Before you ask another person that looks like they done up-leveled what they've done, I challenge you to ask them, what do I need to believe? Don't just tell me your meal plan. Don't just tell me how you grocery shop. Don't just share with me your workouts. Before all of that happens, before the strategy is the belief. So the things I want you to start asking people that got results that you look forward to getting is, what do I need to believe? Yeah, you can send me the whole play by play. But before I can run the play, I need to know where your mind was at. So what I'm about to teach y'all is what you need to believe for us to be successful. What do I need to believe? Because did you know that every strategy that you've tried before today worked for somebody else? And you sitting there with your hand on your chin trying to figure out, now, why didn't it work for me? I did everything she said. I was fasting from this time to this time. I was reading the labels on stuff. I was drinking water first thing in the morning, but my results don't look like their results. And I can almost guarantee you it's because your beliefs didn't look like their beliefs. So I always start with belief. So we're about to play a little game called 3 Lies and 1 Truth. 3 lies and 1 truth, preventing you from getting and staying healthy. Now, listen, y'all, I told y'all I've been doing this for 10 years, right? I've been doing this for 10 years and I have a whole lot of content. Now, I mean like a whole lot of content right now. I don't have as much as the GOAT, right? He got 30 plus years of content, but I got a decade worth of content. So when I was thinking about how I wanted to deliver our first lesson today, I thought I would dig into the archives and let some of my content do the talking for me, just so we can have a little fun with it. So if you're down, what I'm going to do, there's 3 lies that I want to share with you that has been keeping you from achieving your health goals. But instead of me just saying the lie, right? That's boring. Anybody can say it. I'm going to play a clip, either a video or audio clip, to demonstrate the lie to see if you can guess it before I drop it. Is that fair? Say if you down, say I'm down. Like I'm here for it. At least I got my active listening ears on. I'm down for a short clip to see if I can figure out what the lie is. Thank you, Angie. Thank you, Neil. What's up, Jillian? Okay, good. Oh, y'all down. Oh, y'all came to play today. All right. I was digging through the archives and I was like, Lisa, you done said this stuff so many times. Why you gonna say it again? Why don't you just show them and let them listen and see if they can guess what the lie is? Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. The first one that I'm gonna play is gonna be a short clip. It's a video clip. And this clip is on Instagram. And so I'm going to play a clip for you. And I want to see if you listening to this, if you can guess what the first lie is. All right. So let me share it. I'm going to turn up my volume and we're going to watch the video. It's probably less than 90 seconds, y'all. Here we go. Perspective, similar to what you just said, moderation is not even a real place. But the most important thing we need to understand about moderation is you have two protocols when you're approaching your diet. If you're battling something, like if you're in the midst of A1C is high, if you're in the midst of battling cancer, if you're in the midst of battling an autoimmune condition, a reproductive health challenge, fibroids, erectile dysfunction, if you got high blood pressure, if you have kidney failure, fatty liver disease, I don't care what it is. If you're in the midst of battling something, you have officially lost your privilege of moderation. We have to understand that moderation is a privilege, not a right. We've been treating it like a right, like we're entitled to moderation, no matter the circumstances. No, honey. Moderation is circumstantial. Mm-hmm. Your circumstances have dictated that you have lost your right to moderation, because let's be clear, moderation is what got you the diagnosis. Uh-oh, I saw it in the chat. Y'all looks like y'all got it. It looks like y'all got it. I love it here. Listen, the first lie that has been keeping you from your health goals, inching you closer but not getting you over the finish line, is I can have everything in moderation. Now, if I drive down your street today, just put a car emoji in the chat. You ain't even got to say nothing out loud. Just clutch your pearls. And I should have warned y'all. I should have told Danita when we sent out the reminder, tell all the ladies to bring their edge control because it's probably about to get lifted. My bad. Okay, my bad on the edges if you just got your hair done. All right, I should have told you. You might bring some pearls so you can clutch them. Bring your edge control. Okay, all right. But the first lie that's keeping you stuck, the first lie that's keeping you overweight, the first lie that's keeping you medicated, the first lie is I can have everything in moderation. You cannot. What makes you think you can moderate an addiction? Because here's what moderation presumes. There's an assumption that comes with moderation. There's a prerequisite that comes with moderation. The assumption around moderation is that you have self-control. Do you know you got to have self-control to moderate something? You can't moderate something that has more control over you than you have over it. If I told you you had to give up the sugar today to save your life, you would struggle because sugar has more power over you than you have over it. Caffeine has more power over you than you have over it. Those salty snacks have more power over you. That drive-through has more power. The donuts has more power. The supplements, I can just pour powder in my shake for protein. I don't have to eat real food. That stuff has more power over you. How can you moderate something and you're not even in control? The first assumption is you are in self-control. And here's the second thing about moderation. You heard me say it in a clip. Let me say it again here for effect. Moderation is not even a real place. We have 80 people on this call. If I asked you to drop what is moderation in the chat, we would have 80 different answers. Moderation to one person is once a week. Moderation to me is once a year. Moderation to him is every month. Moderation to them is every holiday. Moderation ain't even a real place. It's a term we use to make excuses for our lack of self-control. You just had to have the piece of the wings, the fries, the alcohol, the weed. And because of that, you just yell out moderation because you don't have self-control. Okay, so here's the truth. If I'm gonna give you the lie, I'm gonna give you the truth. Okay. So the truth is, moderation is a privilege, not a right. You have to earn moderation. Now, remember, today is all about me teaching you how to think. Because what I don't want you to do is leave this health series at the end of the week thinking I'm gonna do most of what Lisa said, but we gotta have some vices. We gotta meanwhile, you struggling with type 2 diabetes. A1C is about to pop the roof off your house. It's through the roof. Meanwhile, your blood pressure is just completely out of control. Meanwhile, you on a statin for high cholesterol. Meanwhile, you have no idea why you're having gut and gastrointestinal issues, and you have the nerve to believe you can afford to moderate junk food. Moderation is what got you here. It wasn't just one burger and fry meal. It wasn't one pizza. It wasn't one cocktail. It was not one meal. You literally moderated yourself to a diagnosis. So here's the first belief in case you didn't catch it. Moderation is something you earn after you've done the hard work of optimizing your health. Once the weight is off, once the medications are gone, once you're feeling your best, once the headaches have subsided, then we get to entertain moderation. I tell our students this inside of our 30-day challenge, y'all, so I can put it in perspective before we move on to lie number 2. I tell them moderation is a maintenance strategy. Maintenance means I've done all of the hard work to optimize my health, and now I just need to maintain my results. When you are already unwell, if you're in the midst of a health crisis, you don't get moderation because you're not in the maintenance phase, you're in the treatment phase. When we're in treatment, we adhere to the protocol, full stop. So moderation is a lie that you've been telling yourself that's been keeping you stuck where you are. If you got it, got it in the chat so I can move on to lie number 2. I got another clip for y'all. If we can move on to lie number 2, I went into the archives. I was like, Lisa, you done recorded so much stuff. Why we gotta keep saying this? All right. All right. Nita, Sabrina, Ebony, Shonda, they said they got it. Okay, beautiful. Wonderful. Okay, so let's get to lie number 2. Let's look at lie number 2. Now, this one is just an audio clip. So you only have to listen. You only have to listen. So I'm about to play this audio. And just like last time, let's see if you guys can guess what the lie is. Guess what the lie is.
What's up, guys, and welcome back to the Black Friday 60-second tip of the week. Your burden is heavy enough. Listen, I was talking to someone recently, and she has a marijuana addiction. She's addicted to weed, and she was kind of comparing herself to some other people that she knows who also has addictions, and she was saying that she's glad she's not into the heavy stuff, right? She was saying that she's glad that she's not that bad, right? And I proceeded to remind her that yes, you are, right? You are into the heavy stuff, because if you're carrying it and you can't put it down, it's heavy. I'm going to say that again. If you're carrying it and you can't put it down, it's heavy. Anything you carry long enough becomes heavy, no matter how seemingly light or innocent it is when it stands alone. Anything that has a hold over you more than you have over it is heavy. So when it comes to our health, we must stop looking left and right. We must stop comparing our burdens with someone else's. We must stop looking at other people and saying, well, I'm overweight, but at least I'm not that bad. No, you are that bad. Anything that you're carrying, whether it be an addiction or excess weight, that you can't put down, but that you know you should no longer be holding on to, is heavy. Do not minimize the burden that you carry or the work that needs to be done just because it appears as if someone else's burden is more heavy. The weight of the burden is not determined by how quote unquote hard the drug is, but the weight of the burden is determined by how difficult it is to put it down. Okay? So someone's addiction may be seemingly worse than yours, but maybe on their first attempt, they're able to get clean, whereas you've been trying to get clean for 5 years. Maybe on their first attempt at weight loss, they go all in and they lose the weight. But they were 150 pounds heavier than you when you started, and you can't seem to lose this 45. Listen, you are into the heavy stuff, because if you're carrying it and you can't put it down, it's heavy.
Did you guys catch it? What's lie number 2? So, fun fact, I've been podcasting since 2016, y'all. And so, my second podcast was called the Black Health Academy Podcast. And I used to do these clips every Friday called Black Friday 60-second tip of the week. And they would be like 1 to 2 minutes, little tips like that. And so that's where that excerpt comes from. Let's see if some of you guys got it. Okay, you guys are good. Okay, here's lie number 2. I'm not that bad. I'm not that bad, right? So your belief that I'm not that bad is keeping you less than optimal. Let's put it better. Your belief that I'm not that bad is the reason you've settled, right? You absolutely could be optimal. You absolutely can be the best version of yourself. But because you keep telling yourself, I'm not that bad, you've settled. Let me tell you, there's one of the things when I teach this, I often say sometimes we think that, one of the worst places to be is like, nearly on your deathbed, right? Where like things have escalated to a stage 4, stage 5. And we think that, that will be the worst place to be, where something has approached a point of no return, where the doctor is now telling you that it's not reversible and now all you can do is just manage it, right? But that's actually not the worst place you can be. In my opinion, as a health coach for 10 years, the worst cases I've seen with our students and our clients are people who are not that bad. It is people who are in the middle. The middle is one of the worst places you can be, because it gives you an illusion that it's safe to stay there. And let me tell you why the middle is so bad. It's because it's crowded. The middle is a terrible place to be in your health and your finances and your relationship, because it's crowded. And sometimes when you're joined by hundreds and thousands of people, it makes you feel like what you're experiencing can't be that severe. Let me give you an example. Over 70% of the Black community is overweight or obese. So that means if I go to family functions, if I go into the office, right, when I go to conferences where most of us are in attendance, and everybody that I see, when I go to church and everybody that I see that looks like me, we are all overweight, it gives me the illusion that I'm not that bad. We're all the same. Let me give you another example. If I'm just kicking it with my homies, right? I'm out to dinner with the fellas, or I'm out to dinner with the girls, and we all just talking about life and catching up. And everybody's talking about what medication they on and what the doctor just prescribed them a statin, and they're pre-diabetic, and everybody just swapping stories and laughing about the fact that they're getting older and getting more unhealthy. I am going to settle into that because it feels like I'm with good company. It's crowded in the middle. And when you're in the middle and everyone seems like they have the same issues you have, what then begins to happen? We all of a sudden minimize the severity of what we're experiencing. And so we say stuff, we then compare ourselves to our peers, who maybe are on 3 medications while we're on 1, and we say, I'm not that bad. We look across the table and we compare ourselves to someone who's maybe 200 pounds overweight, but I'm only 25 pounds overweight, and we say, I'm not that bad. We compare our relationship to somebody else and say, well, they're going through infidelity or they're going through this. At least we're not struggling with that. Our stuff ain't perfect, but well, I'm not going to put extra effort into, because at least I'm not that bad. I'm not that bad is the worst place to live. It's the worst block to live on. It's the worst city to live in. It is where your good becomes the enemy of your great. Your good becomes the enemy of your great. I'm not that bad is dangerous. Okay, I think y'all got it. Look, when Brianna said goodness gracious, that I know I can move. I ain't heard of goodness gracious. What type of throwback audience is this? I haven't heard anybody say goodness gracious in years. That's my cue. That lets me know she got it. Okay. I still see the cars coming in the chat. Listen, y'all had me cracking up earlier talking about it's a pile up. Yeah, if I'm coming down your street, just drop it. Just drop the car in the chat. Let me know. I'm on your block. Okay. I'm not that bad. Take it out of your vocabulary. It's killing you. How bad you need it to get before you do something, Anyway, okay. Let's get into lie number 3. Let's get into our final clip for today before we begin to wrap things up for today, y'all. Okay, let's get into our final clip for today. All right. So this one, I think it's another video. I think I found another video for you guys. And did listen, this is what the one and only, this was a clip for the clip that's coming up is a clip with me and Coach ET actually. So let's look at this clip and see if you can guess what the final lie is. Let's see if you can guess what the final lie is for today. Let's play this thing.
What we really pass down, what really runs in our family is the recipe for the mac and cheese. What really runs in our family is the recipe for the pound cake. So if we really wanted to stop and change the health outcomes for ourselves and the babies coming behind us, what we want to do is change what we eat, change how we move, change our relationship with stress, change our relationships with fulfillment, not just working to pay bills, but truly working for self-actualization, making sure we understand that the number one indicator of longevity and life expectancy is actually our relationships and our social connections, even above diet and exercise.
Bloop. Do they still say that? Bloop. Okay. So I think Sabrina got it. Karen got it. Absolutely. Absolutely. Lie number 3. And I'm going to try not to get too passionate on this one. Lie number 3, it runs in my family. It runs in my family. It's keeping you stuck, overweight, overwhelmed, stressed out, burnt out, half sick, and nearly dead. Let me tell you something, okay? You know when somebody say that, they're about to go off on you. So just lay your edges down. Let me tell you something. It runs in your family because nobody runs in your family. That's number 1. Number 2. There is no gene for heart disease. Heart disease is the number 1 cause of death in the United States. That means over 700,000 people die a year from heart failure. Over 700,000 people die a year from clogged arteries. No, let me be clear. I need you guys to hear this. Let me slow down, Lise. Okay. There is no gene for clogged arteries. Nobody passed clogged arteries down to you. There is no gene. You probably don't even believe this. There is no gene that guarantees blood pressure, type 2 diabetes, high cholesterol, or breast cancer. There's no gene that guarantees Alzheimer's. See, what there is a common thread, a common genetic makeup, a combination of things that we see in people who have this. So for example, with Alzheimer's, the ApoE4 gene, right? If your mom and dad have the ApoE4 gene, you have an increased chance of having Alzheimer's. Increased chance is not guaranteed. There is no gene for addiction. Can you be predisposed and have an increased chance of it? The answer is unequivocally yes. So do genes matter? Unequivocally yes. But your genes gives you information that should be informing your decision making. Your genes is not your fate. So what does that mean? That means If someone or multiple someones in your family had it, you have an increased chance of it. That means knowing my family history is important because I'll know how to move based on my, here's the word, probability as compared to somebody else. But do I have a gene that says my heart is going to fail? Do I have a gene that says I'm going to have high blood pressure? Do I have a gene that says I'm going to have breast cancer? No. Nope. Nada. There is no gene that guarantees breast cancer. You can have an increased chance of it, which means now I know I should be taking certain precautions. As a matter of fact, I think I heard Pastor E.T. say this. He said there's people in my family who have addiction, so I just made the choice never to drink. Your genes determines your decisions, not your fate. So the truth is, it doesn't run in your family. You just haven't learned how to sprint. Everybody just needs to be going out buying better running shoes. Because if grandma had it, auntie had it, uncle had it, grandpa had it, that just means I need to learn how to run faster. But it does not guarantee. So don't come into another one of these sessions, these classes, a doctor's office, or a conversation blaming your blood pressure and your cholesterol and your diabetes on your genetic makeup. Stop it. It does not run in your family. When you say that, it disempowers you. So your genes matter, absolutely. You can definitely be predisposed. You can definitely have a higher probability than someone else. But that informs your decision making. If you got it, got it in the chat. Check in with me. Check in with me. Did we lose people? Let me check the head count. Oh, Lord, we done went up on the count. Amen. All right. They didn't know what they was walking into. Listen, it's usually by this time I'll be telling them, what, lock the virtual doors. Okay, they not getting out. You gonna hear this whether you like it or not. Because you want to know the hard thing about hearing stuff. Sometimes you can't unhear it, and now you know better, and now you got to be responsible for what you know. Ain't that the word? Ain't being responsible. Don't being responsible sucks sometimes, y'all. Like, doggone it, now I know better. I got to do better. Now I'm going to feel guilty when I don't do better. Anyway, you're welcome. It's going to be a good week. Let's get into it. Let's get into the truth, okay? So here's the truth. I done told you 3 lies. I done told you lie number 1, everything in moderation. Lie. Lie number 2, I'm not that bad. Lie. Lie number 3, it runs in my family. No, it doesn't. You just need to learn how to sprint. Okay, so let's just wrap up. The whole truth is you can't moderate an addiction. It's not your grandmother's fault, and you are that bad. We're going to sum it right on up. Take a screenshot if you need to. Some of us, we're going to have moments. Listen, at the beginning of my podcast, y'all, my intro says, I am the forever voice in your head. And the reason it says that is because every time I run into one of my students and they start giving me an update about how they doing in their health, they say, I hear you in my head. You're in my head all the time telling me to eat like I got some sense. You in my head all the time telling me everything in moderation don't work. You in my head all the time, right? So I'm hoping that I become the new voice in y'all head. Y'all done heard it here. You can't unhear it. You can't unhear it. So before we get into, we got 2 final things, and then we're going to get into some Q&A. The first is I'm going to tell you what your homework is. And the second is a segment that we'll be doing throughout the week that I'm going to show you. All right. But let me tell you what your homework is going to be for today. Now, remember, I told you I start every lesson that I teach with belief. I get to know who the audience is, right? I talk to the organizer. I'm saying who's in attendance, what's the mission for this event that we're doing. And once I know that, I sit back and I think, I say, what do they currently believe that I need them to believe no longer for us to be successful? Right. And so that's what I did for you today. Right. Once, as we were planning this out, Danita and Jamie and E.T. and the whole team, I thought about what do they need to believe so I can start there. And so what I'm hoping is that we have excavated some beliefs today so that you can stop telling yourself stories that are keeping you stuck. But the reason I just gave you that little bit and I started with belief is because in your homework, you're going to go deeper. So in your homework, you're going to, oh, let's get everybody muted.
Oh, not you.
Hold on. Let's get everybody muted. Okay, perfect. Okay. So in your homework, I started you off with some beliefs, right? I took the time to think about what do I believe they're telling themselves that's keeping them where they are. But I'm going to challenge you to go a little deeper in your homework. And there's going to be some questions on your worksheet. It's called a radical responsibility. That means I'm not the best version of myself right now, physically, mentally, emotionally. I'm not the best version of myself, but I need to understand what stories I've been telling myself that have been keeping me here. So let me see. I think I have the worksheet up actually, guys. Let's look at it together before we wrap up so you'll know what questions you'll be answering for homework. Here it is. Okay, I'm going to share again just so you can be super clear on what I expect you to do within the next 23 hours before you come back tomorrow. Okay, so this worksheet says, what belief is standing between you and your health goals? Okay. And so there's 4 questions. The first one is, what story have you been telling yourself to avoid taking radical responsibility for your health? And then what's the truth? Number 3, what is your health requiring of you in this season of your life? You're going to identify at least 3 or more things you absolutely know to be true and know to be necessary for you to optimize your health. And then the last question you're going to answer is, what's at risk if you don't achieve your health goals? Okay, so that's going to be your homework. So you're going to dig deeper into beliefs. You're going to dig deeper into beliefs for your homework. Now, here's the last piece. 2 more things I have to show you. 2 more things I have to show you. That's part 1 of your homework. Now, if you thought that you were just going to be doing mindset and growth work for homework, you're wrong. Here's the second thing you're going to do. We're not eating sugar or dairy this week. Okay. Starting in this moment, right this second. If you're drinking some foolishness right now, put it down, pour it out, it's done. All right. In order to be crystal clear for the lessons that I have coming up for you this week, I need all of your mind. And sugar compromises the brain. Sugar and dairy are the top 2 causes of inflammation in the body. So here's what I'm challenging you to do with me today. I'm challenging you to go this entire series without consuming any refined sugar or any dairy. Any refined sugar, any dairy. We're not eating it or drinking it. Okay, that means we're not putting creamer in the coffee, no sugar in the coffee. Okay, we're not putting the milk or the yogurt into the smoothie. That's dairy. We're going to use plant-based milk. We're going to use unsweetened plant milk. All right, we are not eating any refined processed sugar. So can you have fruit? Absolutely. And if there's any other questions about that, we'll get to it in a minute in the Q&A. I'm happy to give you some clarity, but we're giving up. I challenge you. I challenge you. Candace, why are you crying in the chat? Now you're supposed to be a role model in the community. Candace crying in the chat, y'all. What's happening? Shanika said that shouldn't have felt like fighting words. I don't know what's happening. I hope they have me back. I hope APAC have me back. So listen, if I'm back tomorrow, y'all, they're going to come emailing me. You didn't say you was going to make us do all that, at least. Okay, so if they have me back tomorrow, I'm looking forward to you. I'm looking forward to you completing your worksheet and taking radical responsibility for your health. I cannot overstate. Everything starts with belief. Behavior follows belief. Everything you just decided, everything you have, everything you do is preceded by a belief. So it's the belief that I can have everything in moderation, which keeps you eating small amounts of junk, which keeps you exactly where you are. It's the belief that guides your decision making, right? It's the belief that I'm not that bad that keeps you making unhealthy choices. So I need you to do the homework. All right, guys? Here's the final thing. So when E and Danita and I were talking, we were talking about what we wanted to see out of this health series and the results we wanted you guys to have. And one of the things we talked about is we don't want this to be another event where you're strictly consuming information. So what I'm going to do for you guys starting today and for the remainder of this week is at the end of every lesson, I am going to give you a tool or a tip that helped me go from being a consumer to a producer. What does that mean? That means when I go to conferences, when I come to virtual events like this, when I'm in the coaching with ET, I don't just consume information, but I then take it and activate it. I then take it and execute. One of the things that we've made a habit out of doing is consuming and being proud of what we know. I heard that before. I know that already. But did you guys know that if your life looked like what you know, you wouldn't have to tell us that you know it? I don't know if y'all knew that. I don't know if y'all know that. But if you wouldn't have to keep telling people, I know that already, if your life looked like what you know. Okay? So here's what we're going to do. Here's your first tip on how to go from a consumer to a producer. All right. Tip number 1, and you're going to do this with your homework. I need you to calculate the cost of inaction. And I'm going to make it even simpler. What that means is I need you guys to understand that if you don't change your habits right now in this moment, did you know that your health today is the healthiest you'll ever be? Your health today is the healthiest you'll ever be. Like, it doesn't get better from here if you don't make different decisions. So I need you to calculate the cost of not doing what I'm teaching this week. I need you to calculate the cost of not doing what you already know. Literally, did you know today is the healthiest you will ever be if you never do anything different? So I do not want you guys to look up this time next Sunday, a week from now, and be less healthy because you decided to do nothing different. If nothing changes today, today is the healthiest you'll ever be. This means if you don't make significant changes now, at best, next week will look just like this week, but it certainly won't feel any better. So calculate the cost of inaction. If I continue to just consume information, what's at risk if I don't produce? All right, let's get into Q&A, y'all. Let's get into some Q&A. Get your hands up or drop your questions or comments in the chat. Drop your questions or your comments in the chat, and let's get them answered. And then I'm going to give you your housekeeping takeaways for today before we hop off. What y'all got for me? Anything? Get the hands up. Okay, so Ron says, is almond milk okay? It sure is, Ron, as long as it's unsweetened. So just because it's a vegan or plant milk doesn't mean it's a green, doesn't mean it's a go. I need you guys to understand that all vegan or things that are labeled as plant-based aren't necessarily healthy. Okay, so we have to still read the label on everything. So Ron, you just want to make sure that there's no added sugar. So it should say unsweetened on the front. Okay. All right. And let me answer the question that came in earlier. There we go. Kenneth, I was coming right to you. Thank you for dropping it again. I appreciate that. Kenneth said, is eating for your blood type real? It is not. That science was debunked years ago. Matter of fact, I got a clip you can read to understand. The doctor who was behind, the person who was behind that, he was being challenged by the medical and the science community for years to produce his evidence. And he couldn't do it. And it was a whole thing. I got something for you to watch real quick, Kenneth. Hold on. I can pull it up in 2 seconds. But no, that was definitely debunked many years ago. Type. Okay, here it is. All right, Kenneth. So I'm gonna drop a link in the chat, and this is good for anybody else who might wants to take a listen. And so there's a doctor by the name of Michael Greger that I really like. And Michael Greger has made it his entire career, his priority for his entire career, to review all of the alleged scientific and medical studies that are out there telling us how to operate for our health. And so he was able to pull this evidence on this eat right for your blood type phenomenon that went crazy several years ago. And so I just dropped that link in the chat. Kenneth, I'll drop it again. All right. Next question. Let's see. Hold on, y'all. The chat going fast. Let me scroll up. Eat right for your blood type debunked. It's a really interesting article, actually. Okay, because I get asked that a lot, so I had to go in and read all the science myself. Let me go back to the top. Okay. You're welcome, Kenneth. All right. So Stacy says, what do I do? What do you eat for breakfast every day? Okay. So first, there is no such thing as a breakfast food. You're just breaking the fast. So which means that breakfast doesn't have to look like toast or eggs or bacon or sausage, right? Like you can like, so for example, Stacy, my first meal of the day today, because I do fasting, intermittent fasting. So my first meal of the day today was a bowl of white bean soup. I made a pot of white bean soup recently. And so I just had leftovers. So breakfast doesn't have to look like a traditional breakfast food, but it can, of course, it can. And so something like an avocado toast, a green smoothie, those of you who like oatmeal, you can do things like that. You can do dry cereal. I've only found one that's clean that doesn't have added sugar, and that's Ezekiel cereal. You could do an Ezekiel bread. And so you can have things like grits and oatmeal and all of that. It just can't have sugar and butter in it, right? And so there's some traditional stuff, and you can find recipes online too for like pancakes and stuff like that that are clean. But just keep in mind that breakfast, there's no such thing as a breakfast food, right? It's just whatever your first meal of the day is after you fasted, is what breakfast is. Okay. Yes, these calls are being recorded. I was going to get to that at the end, but I'm happy to say it now. You guys, long as you're registered, you will get an email later today about how to access the recording. Okay. So yes, all week you will get, as long as you're registered, you will get an email on how to access the recording. Okay. So where do we find the radical responsibility worksheet? I'm about to put the QR code on the screen, and I'm going to drop the link in the chat. I'm doing that right after Q&A. So I got you, Nita. All right. Let me see. Did I miss any of those questions? Okay, now I'm going down to the lower questions. Okay, I didn't want you guys to get distracted and start doing the work now. So I'll drop the link for the homework in just a moment. That's my final slide. Okay, so Brianna says, I'm already dairy and meat free, but my almond creamer has 5 grams of sugar. I need a substitute. You have to find a creamer. I don't drink coffee and I don't use creamer, so I don't know a brand. And if you can't find one, then Brianna, you're gonna have to practice abstinence. But we're not doing any dairy, and I don't know that vegan or plant-based creamers are free of sugar. I've never heard of one because a lot of my students, they're coffee drinkers and they're trying to find. Of course, we can find a dairy-free creamer, but it's harder to find a sugar-free creamer. And so I don't know. You might have to look that up, or if somebody has a suggestion in the chat, because I don't do creamers. And is agave approved, or should we cancel that out? Cancel that out. No, thank you, Coach Kiwi. No honey, no agave, no coconut sugar, no stevia, no blue and pink packs, no brown sugar, none of it. Okay. So you can have fruit though. That's fine. Okay. Yep, I'm dropping the link in just a moment to the homework. With all the different brands of coconut water and it being the best for hydration, which ones would you recommend? Okay, Nigel, so you want to drink a coconut water that just has no sugar added. That's all that matters. The brand doesn't matter, right? So there's a bunch of clean coconut waters. And you know how on the back of a lot of them, it'll say less than 2% of sugar, blah, blah, blah. I don't drink those, right? So my coconut waters literally just say coconut water in the ingredients, one ingredient. That's it. Just the juice from the coconut. That's it. And coconut water is extremely medicinal, guys, because it is full of electrolytes. All right, let's do 1 or 2 more questions, and let me actually, while I'm answering these last few, I'll go ahead and put the QR code up for the homework, and I'll drop the link as well. I know some of you guys might be on your phones. So I'll put the link in the chat. It's going to go to a Google Drive, and then I'll also put the QR code up in case you guys want to scan for your worksheet, because I know we're running out of time here. Okay, so here's the QR code. Hold on, guys. Let me get the link first and drop it in the chat. Okay, so here's the QR code for the homework. And then here is the homework link for your radical responsibility worksheet. There you go. And let me get 1 or 2 more questions in here for you. Coffee is okay, but of course we're not consuming sugar or dairy, so good luck. Let's see. Yes, you can have dried fruit like dates, but it has to be unsweetened dried fruit. So, you know how you can get like dried cranberries and sometimes they're sweetened though, they add sugar to them. So, if you guys have dried fruit, it has to be unsweetened dried fruit. Okay, which it's still sweet, but it can't have extra sugar added. Thank you for the assist in the chat, Key. We ain't nothing like having your right hand who knows the protocol. Okay. Any other questions? I know I missed something, y'all. I'm so sorry. Jillian, come on in. I see your hand up. Sorry about that. Get your question in. Jillian? No? Oh,
Yes, ma'am. I had unmute. Yes. I was going to ask you about talking about that protein powder. You said no to protein powder in the presentation.
so yeah. So here's the deal with protein powder. And we'll be talking more about the food aspect of this on the third day. And the reason we start with food, FYI, guys, is because when I teach you how to eliminate chronic stress, I need you to have a clear mind. So I gotta clear you out first before I teach the strategies. But so protein powder, multivitamins, all of that stuff are supplements. They should supplement food, which means I'm eating healthy and then I've got blood work that says I have a deficiency, right? So you only need a protein powder, you only need a multivitamin if you have a deficiency. See, we're taking multivitamins and we're taking powders as if we need them because we're not eating right. So I don't do a protein powder, Jill, because and I'm vegan, so I don't eat any animal products, and I still have enough protein from real food. So the other issue with supplements like powders and multivitamins is the additives. So a lot of times they have a lot of junk added to them. So when I say no sugar, that means you also have to read, a lot of you guys, your powders and your vitamins. They usually have sugar added to them, just for palatability. And so I don't do any of those supplements or powders. The only thing that I take is vitamin D, and that's because my blood work has shown that I need it. A lot of us are taking supplements without blood work that proves that we even need it. Okay. So if read the label on your stuff, and if it has added sugar, you're going to avoid that this week. Yeah, you can microwave your food. Let me do one or two more. I know the team needs to get out of here, guys. Let me see if I missed anything else. Finally. Um, do you have a reference sheet for foods or substitutions? No, I do not. Let me know what you want to substitute. Um, Thank you for all the help in the chat with the coffee drinkers, y'all. Nervous while eating on the car, amen. Okay. All right. I think that's it. Okay. So this is a week long. As a reminder, guys, we're not doing sugar or dairy this week. You have your homework. Please invite at least 5 people. We would love to fill this room up. There's a lot of people that need the information that I'll be teaching this week. We're going to be focusing on your physical health. We're going to be focusing on chronic stress. We're going to be focusing on a diet that you need to adhere to have the mental clarity that you need to get out of chronic stress. Because when I teach you about decision making, I'm going to need you clear. Okay. And so invite somebody, send them the registration page. Let's fill this thing up for the rest of the week. As a reminder, if you're registered, you will receive an email about how to access the replay, because there's nothing like having Coach Lisa in your head. Make me the new voice in your head and not all those ads you see for stuff and smothered everything. Okay. Make me the new voice in your head. It's time to come get this health. Is there anything else from me, team?
Yes, before we end, Lisa, First Lady Didi did have a question. First
Okay.
Lady, come off mute.
I just wanted to know what's the value of your presentation this week? Like if you had to monetize it, how much information are we getting this week? How much is it worth?
So if anybody is interested in extending their life about 3 to 5 years, that's the value.
Wow. Wow.
100%. Because Didi, it is estimated that chronic stress shortens our life expectancy by about 3 to 5 years. So if anyone's wondering the importance of what we're going to be talking about this week, I need you to know this is serious business.
You're adding another 3 to 5 years to your life
100%.
for free. This information is free all week.
For free all week. I'm here all week. Free all week. One show a day though, but free all week. Absolutely. And so you guys attach the monetary value that you need to 3 to 5 extra years with your family, with your friends, but most importantly, with your assignment. So I'm going to teach you how to be radically obedient to what God has called you to do this week, starting with your health. That's it from me. I hope y'all been blessed today.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Excellent.
Thank you, Didi.
Thank you, Lisa.